when I first started cycling, I didn't have a computer. I just used my cell phone, and I would use it to collect data on rides and whatnot. And as I really kind of got committed to cycling, I bought myself a real bike computer. One of this is a Wahoo. This happens to be the Roam 2. I started off with just a Bolt. I got the Roam 1, but I dropped it and cracked the screen, so I bought a Roam 2. It does a really good job of collecting data, so I thought today would be a good day to talk about what sort of information I collect, what tools I use to look at my information, and how it helps me out or doesn't help me out. I'm a data nerd, so I'm kind of into that stuff. So let's go for a ride, we'll talk about it, and hopefully get some value out of this. We never know. All right, let's go. When I first started cycling, I used my cell phone all the time to track my rides. I bounced around from all sorts of different apps like Map My Ride and Cycle Meter. I always had Strava as kind of like my primary account. Once I really fully committed to cycling, I stopped using my phone, mainly because the phone had a glare problem. It was really hard to see the screen on sunny days, and the battery kind of would burn through pretty fast, and it was always getting too hot. But you know, once I committed to cycling, that's when I started using regular bike computers. I find since they're dedicated to collecting information and they're easy to see and easy to set up, I felt that was the right choice. Now, a lot of my friends, when they go out on rides, they don't bring anything. They don't have a bike computer. Maybe they have a watch just to see what time it is. They don't track anything. I wish I could be that way, but you know, like I said, I love data. I love maps. I love making maps. I love following them on the bike. This Wahoo is so cool. It gives you turn-by-turn directions on your route. If you get off track, it'll reroute you to where you're supposed to be. It's just really pretty cool. Now, a lot of my data woes are my own doing. You know, I have data spread out all over the place. I have data in Strava, I have data in ridewithgps, I have data in my Wahoo app. Specialized for my e-bike even has its own tool that you can track your rides and track your results, and some of my rides get into that app too. So my data is all over the place. So I tried to pick one app that'd be the be-all end-all data, and that's ridewithgps. That's the one I like the most. Now, all my data gets spit out to Strava. That's so my friends and the bike club can see what I'm up to. I have a subscription to that app, but I think I might cancel it at the end of this year. I just don't feel like I use enough of the tool. Ridewithgps to me is much more intuitive and a little better with its reporting. So when it comes to data, the one shortfall of Wahoo is that they don't have a web page you can go to on your desktop and look at your information. Now, I know that Garmin has Garmin Connect, and you can do that there, and Strava obviously is a desktop app. I wish that Wahoo had something like that, but they don't. But again, ridewithgps covers all the data needs I need for my cycling, so I guess it makes up for it. Uh-oh, where's this guy going? Oh, he is not driving on the bike path, is he? Okay, we're wrapping up today's ride. So now, when we get home, we'll sync up all the computers, sync up all the data sets, and then admire how many rides we've done so far this month. All right, let's go home. All right, I know you're not supposed to ride on the sidewalk, but this road that I'm running right next to is very busy this time of night. It's a 2-lane road. Lots of soccer moms rushing their kids to practice and games. I am just going to be careful going past people's driveways, and I only have to go about 200 yards, so forgive me. Here are the fitness apps that I use most of the time. The one here in the top row in the middle, Element, that's the one that my bike computer exports its data to. So when I click on Element, you can see the ride that I did tonight, along with statistics about it, information. Now, in the upper right-hand corner, there's a typical Apple sharing looking icon. You press it, and you can see the 4 apps that I automatically upload data to. I have the Apple Health, Relive, Ride with GPS, and Strava. Apple Health is what it is. It's just all the data that goes into my Apple system. Relive is something a little different. It's an app that lets you get a little creative with your ride. It takes the data and the route that you recorded and turns it into a 3D movie that you can share with friends. Ride with GPS is the tool I use for all of my reporting, so I like to have all my bike rides exported to this app. And Strava is, well, everybody knows what Strava is. It's kind of like the granddaddy of all apps for fitness. I just use it for the social aspect. There's some information in there that's kind of interesting, like the fitness and freshness, but that only comes along if you have the subscription. I probably won't keep the subscription after this year just because I just don't use it all that much. So let's look and see what we have in these various apps. So Apple Health, that maps with the Apple Fitness, so I'll just click on it. And there's the ride that I did today, the 10.42, basic information. The map information does not get included when I upload to Apple. That kind of stinks. The ride with GPS. Here's the ride that I did. 10.4 miles is from today. And let's look at Strava. It is 10.42 miles, and here's this ride. When I press it, you can see the map and, some of the routes or some of the segments and whatnot. So these are the apps that I use to track my information on my phone. Strava and Ride with GPS have computer or desktop-based apps that you can use to look at your information in a little more user-friendly way. So the reporting is a little more robust, and I just prefer looking at my data on a screen. So let's move off of the phone and onto the desktop. Okay, let's look at the desktop apps that I use to look at the data. Now, this is strava.com. You're probably familiar with it if you use Strava. When I look at my activities or any of the rides that I've ever done, I go under my activities under the training. And under training, you can pick which sport you want to do. So I'll pick ride. Now, under ride, I can pick a specific bike, but I can't pick like a year or a month or anything like that. It just sorts it in descending order by date. So here's all the rides that I do. Now, if I want to go to the next page, let's say I want to look at this ride from May 1st, 2023. And I click on it. All right, here's the ride from 2023. Now, when I'm done looking at it, I want to go back to the activities list. So I go over here, hit back. And what this does is it basically resets the feed. So I'm back to having to re-pick my bike, and I'm back at the top of the list. So if I was like maybe 7 screens deep, I'd have to scroll through all 7 screens again. Now the way to get around that is if you see a ride you want to look at, instead of clicking on it right away, you just right click on it and pick open link in new tab. And when you do that, it brings the ride up into a new tab so you can look at it, but you don't lose your place in the report list. So I'll close this out, and I'm still where I was originally with the same filter and position on the list, which is fine. But to me, that's not very robust. I want to be able to search for more things and filter on more things. Now, another way you can look at your rides is through the training log. Now, you only get the training log if you have a subscription. So I'll pull it up anyway just to show it. But within the training log, you can pick which kind of rides you want to look at. So let's look at just my regular rides. And over here on the right, you can pick which year, month that you want to look at. So let's go back to say 2017. I'm going to click on 2017 September. So you can see in 2017, I had a whole bunch of rides in September and August. So that's one way to look at it. Now, you don't get as much detail on the main screen like you did with the activity list, but you can at least filter by day, by month and year here, which is better than nothing. But again, you have to have the subscription. If you don't have the subscription, you can't have this. Now, let's go look at Ride with GPS. This is the one I like. So here's my landing page. To look at your rides, you go under Analyze. And it defaults to calendar view, but I like to use filters, so I'm going to click on the show filters on the right, on the left hand side. And here you can search by name, you can search by gear, distance, gain, average speed, all those things you can filter on. At the top, you can also filter by date, which is very nice because you can filter by year, by month, and within the month by week. So let's just say, let's just focus on 2024 for now. So here's the ride from the other night. We'll click on it, and what you get is a snapshot of the ride right here, just a quick peek at the information. Gear, distance, elevation, that sort of thing. And the same kind of thing you get in the default list over here. Now, if I want to look at the full page of the screen, I'll hit view in full, and it takes me to the ride. It shows me the elevation, it shows me the course, all that extra information. It's pretty nice. And when I'm done, since it took me to a new tab, I just X out of the tab and I'm back to the main list where I was in the first place. So let's close out 2024 and look at 2021. If I look at March, and here's one in March, I click on this ride, I view in full. Here's the ride. When I'm done, I X out, and I'm still in March of 2021. So the filters don't reset. It's really pretty handy. And also the mapping utility in this to create routes, to me, is second to none. Maybe there's some better ones out there, but for me, this is what I use. Okay, so let's look at how the data flows through my apps on my phone. When I'm done with my ride, it's time to upload the data to all the platforms that I use. So when I stop the ride, the data collected during the ride, the health data, the route data, all that stuff gets uploaded to the Wahoo app on my phone. Now, when I set up the Wahoo app initially, I picked 4 apps to also upload data to, and those apps are the Apple Health app, Strava, Relive, and Ride with GPS. So that data automatically syncs with those. Now, automatic is kind of a rigged word. 9 times out of 10 it just shows up in those apps, no problem. But every now and then you have to do a manual push yourself through the Wahoo app, which is really not a big deal. Now, I picked the Apple Health app because I like to have all my health data in one place, no matter what kind of health data it is. It's also easy to pull up and summarize for doctor visits or things like that. Strava, I post all my data to Strava for our bike club because we all use it. Relive is an interesting app. It takes your route and creates a 3D movie with it. And Ride with GPS, to me, is the best mapping application as well as the best data collection and reporting tool. Now, each one of these apps accept different kinds of information. So the Apple Health app cares about cycling health data, so heart rate, time, distance, all that kind of thing. The other 3 apps take that same information, but the GPS data as well, because they use it to display the routes. I don't know why that doesn't happen with the Apple Health app as far as the rides go. It works on other apps with running and whatnot, but maybe it's just a Wahoo thing. I don't know. With the Apple Health, there's one extra step. It sends it to the Apple Fitness app. So you can credit this ride to the little rewards and goals that the app has on a daily basis, like how much calories you burn, uh, exercise minutes, things like that. Now, the thing with Ride with GPS that's nice, it's a really good mapping tool, like I mentioned earlier.
You can create maps on Ride with GPS and upload them to your Wahoo device for the next ride. Now, this is not an automatic sync. You have to initiate the sync on your bike computer. So when you turn it on, you just hit the sync button and the maps from Ride with GPS upload there. Now, it's not unique to Ride with GPS. Strava does it as well, but I only accept maps created with Ride with GPS. So that's what my data ecosystem looks like. It's a lot of data movement and whatnot, but it's kind of fun for me because I'm really into this sort of thing.
That about wraps up how my data flies around the ether from my bike computer to my desktop. Hopefully you get some value from this, and if you did, consider subscribing for more related content. Thanks for watching.